on air, online, on your side. You're watching KGUN 9 News at 9.
A big argument against e-scooters on Tucson streets is that they actually cause clutter. The changes along 4th Avenue that aim to fix all of that. And worries are growing over a deadly and aggressive virus in China. A second case of the coronavirus has been confirmed in the U.S. by the CDC, and the State Department has a travel warning. Good evening, and thank you for joining us on KGUN News at 9 on the CW. I'm Chandrea Thomas. Tonight, another person is in isolation in Chicago, and she's the second person with a confirmed case of the coronavirus. The CDC says she recently traveled to China, where the disease came from. Meanwhile, health officials in California, Tennessee, and Texas are testing patients for possible infections. The State Department issued a travel advisory for China, urging Americans to not go to certain areas because of the risk. And Tucson is expecting an influx of international travelers as the annual gym show picks up. A cab driver who carries gym show passengers asked us to look into the safeguards to keep the virus at bay. But how can you reduce the chance of those international travelers bringing it in? The CDC says travelers from high-risk areas will enter the U.S. through 5 airports set up for enhanced screening. Banner University Medical Center's medical screening looks at a combination of symptoms and history.
Those would be a convincing exposure history, meaning travel to the affected region or close personal contact with an affected individual within a 14-day time period, plus a convincing clinical syndrome.
The doctor says the best thing you can do is keep a close eye on CDC updates about the virus. And now to a case of a Tucson couple accused of murder who escaped police and hid out for weeks. Tucson police say Blaine and Susan Barksdale killed a 70-year-old man and burned his house down to hide the evidence. Today, the couple's attorney argued that cameras should not be allowed in court because in those hearings before the trial, because it could taint the jurors' impressions of the case. An attorney hired by KGUN 9 argued Arizona rules say cameras should be allowed in unless there's a very strong reason to keep